Hello everyone, Kevin from K-Tech Services, back again for another educational digitizing video. Today's video we're going to be working with Wilcom Embroidery Studio digital edition. Um, I've been having the question from a couple of my customers. This will be focused on Melco machinery. And I've been getting the question about, hey, I need to know more about the lock stitches, but I use Wilcom and trimming between letters, etc., etc. So, okay. I told him, I said, I'd be happy to do a video on this. So, um, let's get started here. So the main thing when it comes to Wilcom, and just so you know, I have all my toolbars indicated here. I have large icons. I have the wording, which I kind of feel as the videos that I do more of these, I kind of feel that you can kind of follow along better of all this turned on as I go through things. I know your Wilcom is probably going to be set up a little bit differently. I do have my object property box pinned, and I do have a color object list pinned. And normally I have those off to my second monitor, but since I'm doing this video, I have to put everything on one monitor. So, okay. Um, so the main thing when it comes to Wilcom is the machine type that you're going to be dealing with. Wilcom actually has predefined preferences or templates in a way of machine file for the machine that you're going to be sewing or digitizing the design for. Okay, and if you go under design and go to select machine format, that's where all the machine information is listed. Okay, and today we're going to be working with Melco, so obviously we're going to want that. So make sure you have the right profile set for the machine that you want to digitize for. So then we go to settings, make sure the output is set to or checked, and then of course the jumps are set to 2. Save it, close, and then OK, and you're done. The other thing under design is the auto start and end. Make sure that follow this how I have it set up. Make sure these are checked, and and then make sure that's in the center. And then things when you save stuff to the machine or machine file, it'll actually put it'll center everything properly. Okay, I just wanted to double check to make sure you see that. Okay, so we got the profile. So everything that I do new from this point will have the new Melco profile. But again, if I'm working with another machine, I can go there up to the design and machine and then change it to that machine profile. Okay, cool. So let's just go ahead and do a file and a new. Um, and then I'm just going to go ahead and go to my lettering tool. I'm going to type in KTech. Okay, and then I'm going to come on down here how I have my information of the size here listed. I'm going to make that 3 inches, and it's a little bit under 3/4 of an inch, which is fine. Like a left chest, if I do this 1-to-1, like for a left chest logo, etc. So stitching, okay. So we do have the lock stitches. If I zoom in on this, I can see there's a lock stitch there. There's a lock stitch there. And the reason why is because closest point or closest join is actually activated. So if you go under special, normally it'd probably be like this, or depending on, and then you go scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see sequence. You can do the greater than or less than. And then look under stitch method, and then it's set to closest join. You have as digitized, closest join, and bottom join, but right now this one we'll just have it set to closest join. Okay, I just wanted to point that out to you. We do have our lock stitches, which is proper and stuff like that. If you don't see them, that's probably not turned on, and I'll do another video soon or after this one, and to kind of explain how to reset those if you're not seeing them. But just real quick under connectors, they're right here under connectors, and the tie off should be set. There should be the 3 in the bottom should be checked, and then under tie in, which are the beginning tie-in or lock stitches, and then the tie off is the end, and then you should have 2 under the tie-in. Those are the normal defaults turned on. So in case you don't, I'll make another video how to reset that later. Okay, so Let's jump into the first one. Okay, we're under special. That's the lettering mode that we're in. The first one. Let's go to fill, which is the amount of stitches are in the. Okay, we're set to satin. Here's your options of if you want to change the stitch type, but we don't want to do that. We want to just keep it as satin. Now the auto spacing is what we have turned on for the amount of stitches, the density. Now, this is a little backwards thinking. Actually, it is backwards thinking. um, if I want more, of course, right now at 90%, this is good. For this size factor, I would sew this out. It should be decent enough. But let's say it was a little gappy or something like that. Well, I would want more stitches. So then you would go like 85% or 80% to give it more stitches. And then if I want it to be less, let's say I don't, it's too much. Okay, from 90%, I go 95% or 100%. So that's how that works for the density levels. Okay, for the auto spacing. Okay, that's and then make sure that auto split is turned off. I don't like to use that too often, but I usually have that turned off in case that might be on. Just uncheck that. Okay, so we're done there. Let's see. Let's go over to pull comp, and this is where if I want the stitch to be wider, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the K and the T, and I want it really fat. Let's say I want really fat stitches. Okay, so I can come over here and I can increase it to like a millimeter. Oh, wait a minute. Well, what happened here? It didn't change. Well, okay, I did that on purpose. You know, the one thing about Wilcom is, or another thing about Wilcom is you must select the element to change. Now, I don't know how to stress this enough. I don't know how many, I hate doing double work or triple work, because I'll adjust something and then I realize that I'm not on the element. Okay, so it must be, that's why I like using the color object list because I could see the element, I could click on it, puts a black box around it, then I know I'm on that. So now when I adjust it and stuff like that, it will change. Hello. Okay. We don't want it that big, so I'm just going to do an undo. But I wanted to share that when you're working in Welcome, and I know it's hard to remember that, because if you click off certain things, it actually unselects you, and then you thought, oh, okay, and then you're thinking that you're on it and you're not on it. So that's why I recommend people always having the object list open and pay attention to this as you do it. And you click on it, then now you're on that specific element that you need to adjust or tweak or however you want to do it. Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, let's see, we got one more. Let's see, we can go over here to underlay now. Now the underlay that's the now you have two different underlays. You have a first underlay and a secondary. You can have none, you can have one, you can have up to two. Okay. Now by default, Wilcom has entered these edge run and a zigzag in there for you for the size factor that we're trying to stitch out. Now, if I want to go ahead and hit the player and I can actually play these stitches. Now I really love these softwares that pretty much all have this feature of digitizing, and I prefer using this a lot of times, just because I could see the stitches draw out and everything, and before I even get over to actually sewing it out on the machine. Now this is plenty fine and stuff like that for this size factor and these underlays, and but if I want to change those, make sure I have my element highlighted. Okay, so then I can actually change it. Now when I'm under shape, now Welcome has a couple of different. They have by shape and they have by segment. Okay, now you only have two options here on edge run or double tatami stitch, or if you're under segment you'll have a bunch more activated, so you can try those. Center run, now an edge run is actually two stitches. It's like an edge walk is what it is, and then just everybody has a different name for it. Center run, zigzag, of course we got a zigzag down here, but hey, maybe I don't want the zigzag. I could turn it off, and turn it on. It again, these are the default that Wilcom has provided is fine. Okay, but in case you want to change it, it all comes down to the type of fabric that you're actually trying to stitch this on. Okay, so that's it. So and of course you have the connector style. So this is all ready to go. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to save my work in case something happens, and I should have done that way before that. because you never know when you're going to crash. Okay, so then I'm going to export this to a machine file, a DS, or no, expanded, Melco expanded. Okay, and export that to a Melco machine file. And okay, so that's done. So I'm gonna actually flip over to Design Shop. Now, of course, you don't need Design Shop to do this. This is just for the video and stuff like that. If you have Design Shop, that's cool. Just bring it up, and then I can actually bring up that file. I just want to show you how it saved and everything like that. So I'll turn on 3D mode. Now it has proper trim codes in it, so it's lock stitching right up here. Okay, properly, and then of course it's starting up the next stitch right over here. Okay, so if this is what you're aiming for, great. Send it over to the machine, stitch it out, see if you need to make any changes or tweaks to it. Okay, now the other option here is like since this is right now we're looking at this 430% of actual size. So if I go to 1 to 1, I mean, yeah, I mean I can pretty much exit out a walk stitch there. Now, granted, I would normally bring these letters in a little bit more closer, but for this example of this video, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Okay. Um, so how do I go about doing that? And so I could basically I could save 4 trims by doing that. So we're going to bounce back over to Wilcom, and should be fairly simple to do. If under the connector type, come over here again. Now you have a couple of different options. You have after object and then inside object. It usually works a little bit better when it's an inside object. It's just where it places the kind of the lock stitch in a sense. Is how it works a little bit, but you change it to a run. And why didn't it not change? Because I don't have it selected. Okay, so I'm going to change now. If now it does what I wanted to do, now it's crossing over with a lock stitch to the next letter. Okay, and that saves me 4 trims. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this to Melco expanded again, so I could show you what that looks like in Melco. Okay, so we're going to go to Design Shop, and then we'll exit out of that one, and then go ahead and hit Expanded. Okay, and now this one that there is there's no trim code or anything like that. So basically, it's just a lock stitch over. There's a tie-in stitch, and then obviously a lock stitch on each letter, and then at the end there's a lock stitch right here. Okay, so that will save me 4 trims. Now, trimming is a big deal in a lot of cases and everything like that. So, an average trim is 5 to 8 seconds. So it's like by doing this, I mean, example is I basically did this with a customer a few weeks ago, and it was trimming like crazy in this one file, and I went through it and I took out 22 trims that didn't need to be in there. Me and the customer figured it out. It was about a minute per run. I saved him in sew outs and production. Um, that's a big deal in a lot of cases. So something to think about and stuff like that. It wasn't that hard to actually switch this on and stuff like that and save all that trimming. Okay, that's one other option there too. So, okay, so now let's bounce over back to Wilcom, and the last one that I'll show here is I don't expect you to use this. This is kind of old school, and it's not used at all, to be honest. But for laughs and stuff like that, I'll show it to you. So to do this, I'm gonna actually uh, jump back to jump, so it turns off those walk stitches, and then I'm going to bounce over to special, and then go all the way to the bottom, sequence, change the closest to bottom join. Okay, and then go to connectors, and then make sure you're selected, turn off the trim command. Now it's going to lay these big long jumps. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save the expanded file, machine file. Okay, and then I'm going to go back into Design Shop. I'm going to get rid of that file, and then I'm going to load up the new one and show you what I mean by this. Okay, so if I turn that on, it just lays these long jump points. And machines that I had back in my day, we didn't have trimmers. Well, we had one machine, but most of the machines we had were non-trimmers. That goes back pretty far, back in the 80s. So um, So what this was for, my mom and our family business and stuff like that, she would be the trimmer. Okay. Of course today, you guys are spoiled and you have the really pretty good trimmer systems that can trim 3 lines of text and not have a problem with it. But either you're going to do it or labor is going to do it, or you're going to have the machine do it. It's just the way that it is today. Okay, so that should be that's the end of this video here. I appreciate you stopping by. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so I could do more videos, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for stopping by.